fighting against. You know, I've been working on things, and the thing that is one of the greatest challenges in trying to get things done is we need money. Well, guess what? Who are we fighting? Who we're fighting has an infinite supply of money. So we're forever fighting against people who can pay every corrupt person who can be bought. And that actually explains everything about the world and the way it functions. Our world is run by corrupt prostitutes because those that can be bought are the ones that will be given the positions of power. And ideally, we like corrupt people who like little boys or high-class prostitutes, and we like to have videotapes of them because if you ever think to do what's right, then we'll release those videos of you with some little boy or some prostitute. Literally, the more corrupt you are, the more qualified you are to be a prime minister or a president. Literally, this is the system we live in. It rewards the corrupt, and it punishes those people who actually have some integrity. That is the system, and the head of the state is the financial system. And until we change that system, we are fighting an uphill battle.
If our military becomes partisan, then our military is a tool for all the wrong reasons in the hands of all the wrong people.
You put your life on the line to fight extremists, and now there are people within it that are calling you an extremist.
We got transitioning soldiers in our unit. I've got a quota I need to meet of a certain number of women and men or a certain number of minorities. What are we doing here? We're in the job of kill or be killed.
I'm so excited about your new book, The War on Warriors. You offer a perspective that so many infantrymen, so many servicemen and women are wanting for people to understand, but they don't have somebody being a mouthpiece for them.
Because when you're in uniform, you can't talk. I mean, you're defending everybody else's constitutional rights, but yours are limited to, say, speak with the media or complain publicly about what you're facing. Your friends and family might know, but the media doesn't know, the public writ large don't know, and if politicians don't care or are not willing to address it, then nothing changes. So, I mean, when I joined the Army over 20 years ago, I did it like everybody else because you love the country and you want to do anything you can to defend it. And the Army I see today looks nothing like the one I joined. And the one I joined wasn't perfect either. So I wrote The War on Warriors. It's not a book about how the military went woke. It's a book about how the military allowed itself to go woke. I mean, military is an institution with a code. You swear allegiance to the Constitution to defend it. You believe your senior leaders will defend and make sure you have everything you need, the training, the accountability, the excellence, the lethality. It's an ultimate meritocracy. And what we've seen under Obama and then fast forward under Biden is an erosion of that meritocracy in pursuit of social justice or social experiments that has created a fragile military that is not as capable as people think. We're in uncharted territory as a society, this idea that we're trying to keep a republic while simultaneously telling the young people of that republic that it's a terrible country or irredeemably racist or misogynist. All of those themes seep into the views that young Americans have. But the military for a long time had been this incubator of excellence, this sort of resistant to all of those cultural trends. Yes, there have been changes over time, but more or less, if you want to not deal with all that garbage and just go defend the nation, join the Marines, join the Army. And what you see, I mean, you see it now in the recruiting shortfall.
Wow, you're right. This is uncharted territory because every Memorial Day, every time that I'm sitting there with American flags and we're singing God Bless America and I'm remembering my grandfather, there's such a sense of patriotism, such a sense of gratitude and you know, the flybys and all of this stuff. And I'm feeling just something different in the air now where people are thinking like that's bad and that's not really something we should be getting excited about and it is scary.
No, it's evil jingoism or nationalism. The flag is political. I mean, I wore a flag on my shoulder when I served under George Bush and Barack Obama and Donald Trump. I mean, I volunteered to deploy to Afghanistan under Barack Obama, a president who I disagreed with on everything because it wasn't political. It was about defending the nation. And we're getting, because of the purge that's come into our military, and I use that word intentionally, there has been a purge post-COVID, post-George Floyd, during the Biden administration, a purge of patriots. you've got a real reluctance of everyday Americans to serve an institution if they don't feel like it's going to serve them.
And when I think of patriotism, I think of the military. I don't just think of like patriotism, so I think of schools and education, or I think of the church, although these are important institutions. The military is like inextricably tied and connected with a sense of a vibrant patriotism in a nation. But with these attacks on patriotism, calling it Christian nationalism, what does a disdain for the U.S. military mean for the future of our culture?
Well, first of all, you were raised right, and that's why you look at it that way. A disdain for our military and the future of our culture means more soldiers die. And I mean that. I mean, when you impose DEI and CRT and gender fluid standards into the military, you are breeding a less capable military. You are giving commanders less opportunity to train. You're giving them there's less accountability inside this. I heard time and time again from leaders, I'm walking on eggshells because I don't know what pronoun. We got transitioning soldiers in our unit. I've got a quota I need to meet of a certain number of women and men or a certain number of minorities. What are we doing here? We're in the job of kill or be killed. I'm giving you my son. You're going to train my son, and then you're going to play games with social engineering inside the unit, and you're going to say, well, we need more women in this unit, or we need more of this in that unit, and you're going to get promoted because of this. And I'm telling you, if you don't believe it, talk to someone who's serving right now. That's an abdication of the responsibility we have to those who are willing to put life on the line. Your grandfather, at the very least, believed his leaders had his best interests in mind. Mm-hmm. And right now, from the White House down to the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, the Secretary of Defense, they're peddling gender nonsense, race nonsense that divides troops against each other, environmental stuff, electric tanks, and things that are not useful to warfighters. And then we're trying to recruit non-conventional people into the unit because we're scared of all these patriot extremists or Christian nationalists or plain old white guys that wear cowboy hats. That's a dangerous spot to be in. Fixing it's not difficult, actually. If you have the right commander-in-chief, we can talk about that. I mean, it will be difficult, but the capture is more recent. But it means that when we face that next conflict, how ready will we be? How focused on the right things will we be? And that's an open question right now. And that's what, and then you add that to when that next conflict, let's say the next 9/11 happens, who's protesting? Are they protesting for us? Are they protesting that we deserve it? I mean, look at what's happening outside college campuses. Like, we have an upside-down critical theory infection inside the minds of young people, and that means the institutions that we used to not question are now being threatened, to your point.
Man, this is also sobering. When a conflict happens, I want Navy SEALs out there. I want Army Rangers out there. I want the real deal. I don't want the Purple Hair Platoon fighting for us. And yet what you're saying is that is a big part of the agenda, is to get as much of that into the military, and that is playing right into the hands of those who hate us and would like to annihilate us.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, and it's across the spectrum, right? I mean, China wants TikTok for our kids, but not for theirs. They want to infect our ability to defend ourselves. Now, thankfully, there are great Navy SEALs, and there are great Army Rangers, and there's still bad dudes willing to do bad. I mean, there are. I've met them. I've seen them. They're still in there, right? Our job is to make sure they have a military they deserve, and that we get the other stuff out. Yeah. Because they want to do their job, and they will do it for us. And that's the good side of this, is there are plenty of great Americans out there who want to join for the right reasons.
Pete, it's provocative on the very back of your book. You talk about how 20 years ago you put your life on the line to fight extremists, and now 20 years later the same army is infected with a virus, and there are people within it that are calling you an extremist because you love the country and what it stands for.
I was labeled one, literally. I deployed. I was in the Washington, D.C. National Guard. I was there during the George Floyd riots outside the White House when the insurrection that tried to take out Trump happened. I was there for not the first night, but the next four, holding a riot shield. It's surreal to hold a riot shield with the White House lit up behind you with your fellow citizens in front of you. We were there. And then the election happened. Joe Biden's inauguration. Then January 6th happened. Yeah. Then Biden's inauguration is coming. And so, remember, every National Guard unit in America, or the region, was there. certainly the DC Guard. So I had orders to go. And I'll never forget, one day before I was supposed to go, I get a call from a commander in the unit saying, Pete, you're good. Your orders are revoked. You can stand down. I'm like, what do you mean I can stand down? Everybody's going. He's like, nope, we're good. We don't need you. And he wouldn't tell me why in the moment, couldn't. But it was pretty clear to me. I'm like, okay, why in the world is everybody going but me? When I wrote the book, I was able to talk to him again and confirm 100% that it was because they had identified me as an extremist because of a Christian tattoo I have on my chest, the Jerusalem cross. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Only a Christian symbol. They searched my Instagram and some folks identified it and said, no, he's an extremist. And the leadership of the unit supported it, and they revoked my orders. And so I got out. I didn't. If that was happening to me, and was it because of the tattoo? Probably not. Was it because I'm a Trump supporter? Never about politics. Now, you do, I'm an extremist. Keep that, add the COVID vaccine, add the little purges that you saw, and it is I would call it an assault on people of conscience in the military. A lot of that comes down to Christians, or conservative patriots. This is, they don't shut up these things. You can't have that in bumper sticker on your car or in posting. You can't have that flag. It might be extremist. There are so many silly ways to read the faces, all of them. If our military becomes partisan, then our military can create all the wrong users and views all the wrong things. Right? There's always been a nonpartisan, patriotic institution, right? And I fear we're on the verge of losing that. Across the board, you see in the book, you will meet person after person and moment after moment, where instead of choosing standards, accountability, meritocracy, and neutrality, so-called leaders follow political ideologues in search of social justice outcomes in ways that really less taken. And that's the thing. It's putting a symbol on the cover of the book here. It's an upside-down American flag. What does that mean? It's a universal symbol of distress. You see people flying their flag. I threw my flag upside down outside my house after the fall of Afghanistan. And it's almost like I did that on purpose. Obviously, that's a combat pack. That's exactly the type of combat pack I wore on my shoulders. I've been proud to wear that hat my entire life, but this institution is indirect. Sometimes you hear the phrase, follow the money, and that's a great way to track things back to what is the source upstream that's causing these things downstream. And if someone can get control of the money and they can get control of the power, the military power, there's so much you can control. What kind of individual people are at the top controlling general to trickle down an ideology that's just destroying morale, destroying the effectiveness of the military? Is it what you think it is? Is it really as awful and insidious as you think? It's less of the want control. And the military was the last message that they did not control. And ultimately, meritocracy based on patriotism and love of the country. You can control other quarters of government fairly easily. The Obamas are famously obsessed with the DOD, visited the Pentagon a lot, and very particular about exactly who they appointed into certain positions. Inherently distrustful of the general, and so over time slowly filtered out the war fighters, first class in case of war types, and moved in Secretary of the Navy, Secretary of the Army, political appointees, and then push progress down to general. So once you're picking the Secretary of Defense and the secretary, they're setting the terms of what's acceptable. Now, if you're a uniform member underneath that, you either comply or you get out. Because the ones willing to comply, the sheep, who willing to go along with, oh yeah, women in combat, great idea. Oh yeah, trans, great idea. Oh yeah, let's just change, let's do that. They just promoted. The PC laptop. So it takes a while. And people like, oh my, he would have done a lot of these things right away if he could. In 2009, but he couldn't. So a lot of the most radical things he did in the military happened in 2014, 2015, and 2016. After he made the necessary personnel changes in order to save the environment, but he moved the military which DNA its bones over 350 years said no. He was willing to be complicit in the erosion of that institution. Trump did what he could. I think there were a lot of generals who went down into their bunker and tried to attack him. But the minute Biden came in, it was just fast forward on everything Obama had been doing.
How do you think we can turn this around?
Again, I wrote a book about education, 100-year takeover.
Amazing.
And the problem with that one is that, yes, it's part of education, it does a lot, but it's not centralized. If you want to make a change, you got to do it next year. You got to make a change. You got to make a change so local. Like they do in the environment, you got to see it. This is a top-down institution. I believe that many hope is that a nuclear energy comes in and says, not doing this garbage anymore. Fires and secretaries, fires and security, brings in new secretary of the Army, the Air Force, and the Air Force. Now that person is refusing Trump. Oh, you're doing a MAGA case. What MAGA cases are going on here? We're just going back to how we used to focus on the right thing. Right. It has to be top down and bottom up. It's the bottom up is how we see right now, first, because our military academy, our PCC, will see our team. And you've got a clean house here with the superintendent and professors. There's a good core in the middle, a good, honest, God-fearing core inside our military that wants to do the right thing. And we get back to the first. We get to see something. Hey, this is our that's the baseline.
And I'm so glad that you have decided to talk about education in the previous book, and then you're talking about military here in this book, because at the end of the day, I think you have two competing ideologies. You have your speculative, atheist, Marxist ideas that's really showing up in all the colors of the rainbow, and then you've got a biblical worldview, which is the root for the fruit of liberty, opportunity, equal rights, the fruit of the spirit, the courage, and all these kinds of things. And ultimately, it's a battle between these two ideologies, and that's where our faith comes in. How did your time in the military impact you and your faith?
I mean, the old adage is overused, but there are no, atheists and possibilities. Those are real things. When you are stepping out on a mission, for example, in the middle of the night, in a terrorist assault in Baghdad, leading between 40 men into Indian country, into enemy country, and you're going to get an Al-Qaeda steakhouse for a murder scene that's targeting a million across Baghdad, and you don't know what to expect. You face mortality really fast, and you're on bended knee 3 6 to say, hey, God, I give this to you. I would say I was a head Christian, there wasn't a heart Christian civil service over there, but it was all there. And I'll tell you one story. During 1 week, when we got finished dropping the rooftop in the Golden Enemy House, I'm in charge for the first time. And I just remember it was dropping one day. It was all going sideways. And I remember I did a sense of calm that I had no business at. I went from a Wall Street job in the National Guard to an infantry unit in combat within 6 months. Like a long story, but the calm I felt, yes, my men were trained in this. I think it was a something. And I'll never forget about 2.5 weeks later, I went home to my parents. And my mom said to me, you can't talk about time vacation when you think about that. Because everything you know, on such and such a night, at this time, I felt this overwhelming urge to fall on my knees and pray for you. And I just felt from sharing it. And I triangulated, I asked, what time was that? And at this very moment, we were in the rural areas of Baghdad, going through Al-Qaeda. That's in the wrong direction at first. Like, it's just the Carl prayer was very real thing. And I think, not just my company commander, who's a great Christian, who's an amazing leader for our family. It's also something that's under assault too, when you capitalize all that or something that they're eroding. But it's always been bedrock of the American military. Because we believe in something bigger than ourselves. Yeah.
Well, I know my grandfather, he was issued a Bible that they gave to him in the military.
The Bible? Yep.
So many things like that. And then so much of that has changed, and you document so much of that in your book. And you've been telling stories of veterans for a long time. Why is that important to you?
The best education I ever got was from the assaulted American men, mostly men, some women, but mostly men that I served with, who reminded me what real courage looks like. It's what real guts. They're never going to sit on stage like this. Listen to this guy like me, cameras on all over the place, talking about it. And so I take really seriously my responsibility to try to protect it. I wear makeup and talk on TV every Saturday and Sunday morning. I talk to them. Then I better be really good at channeling, what direction I'm going politics, how to raise our emotions. And that's tough. It's a tough call. And when we started, everyone wants to second guess it. I've been in a few moments where I had to make a tough call. Here's what you're going through. And so I think of all those guys a lot. Every time I get a speech, I think of how are they, what role are they playing in this speech? That I can help people understand what they're going through and respect the service that they do. Because ultimately they pour into the next chapter of their life, their next profession. And you know, some pat on the back here or there. But they just hope that the legacy of their service is respected. And that's what I try to do.
You understand now. If he is what you don't want him, Secretary of Defense. They are using the same old-tired accusations. Nothing used against everyone who dares speak out or poses a threat to their power. This is a worldwide war. You simply don't understand what is happening in Western style nations throughout the world. It is part of their so-called Great Reset. They want traditional white Americans dead. They want your children sexualized and enslaved.
You have been listening to the voice of the sons of liberty. We wish you peace, strength, and discernment in these troubled times. Where we go once, we go always.